Hello everyone, this is David Hazar, creator of the Drain Detailer, and today I wanted to show you how to use the Drain Detailer with a standard pop-up drain. This is a builder grade pop-up drain. It is made out of plastic, and you'll see that when we kind of look at some of the ball rods and everything involved with this. But the way you know it's a pop-up drain is you have a lever here on your faucet, and when you push it down, it pops up. When you pull it, it goes back down. And so that is a pop-up drain. Now the first thing that we have to do is get the drain cover off. Sometimes this is fairly easy. In this case, we can lean this a little bit forward towards the faucet and just pull it out. So that's an easy one. Some of them, like the one that I have at home, you have to move it from side to side, so you can twist it from side to side, and you can usually find one side that will allow it to come out. But if you look at this, it has this opening here where the ball rod can go through. If this is turned this way, which on one of my sinks I have to do that because the ball rod, for whatever reason, the way it was set up, doesn't extend far enough. I don't know what causes that and why it's different from my other ones. If that's the case, you're going to have to remove the ball rod, which I'll show you what that ball rod is here in a moment. All right, so remove the drain. I'm going to set this aside. I'll just set it right here. Now what I'm also going to do, just so that this is a little bit more realistic as to what you'll see when you're doing this at home, I'm also going to pour a little water down here because the sink isn't hooked up. And this is to fill up that P-trap. Right? So it doesn't take much, or, at least for the demonstration purposes, there's not much. You want to make sure that that P-trap's always filled. So when we do take it off, I'm going to talk to you about what we need to do in order to ensure that we're safe from the sewer gases that come back into your house or have the potential when that P-trap's removed. The reason we want it full of water is that's what prevents the sewer smells and sewer gases from coming back into our house. This one's not hooked up, but in the real world, right? When you're doing this at home, you want to make sure that the line to the sewer is either covered, which is why we provide these silicone covers so that you can cover that up. You can also use just a rag if you have some work towels or some dish rags or anything. You can also use that to plug up the sewer line or the sewer pipe. Anyway, this is the cover that we provide, and you'll see that here in a minute. All right, the next step is to remove the ball rod. I would do this before you take off the P-trap. Now, I will have a video later with some of the more robust drain pipes with the metal, or there's like polyurethane or acrylic, or I don't know what the plastic is that's inside of it. With some of them that are a little bit more heavy duty. This one's plastic, but more of a flimsy plastic. With the heavier duty ones, you don't have to take off the ball rod. I would still recommend doing it. It's going to make your drain cleaning attachment, right here, this silicone brush, it's going to make that last a lot longer. So I still recommend doing it, but you don't have to. It's designed to kind of squeeze around that, but it's going to take a lot more force to get it down the pipe, and it's a much cleaner clean if you take this off. Now we're showing the bottom of the sink. I have this bowl here to catch some of the water when we open up that P-trap, and it's also going to catch any of the nasty stuff that comes out of the sink. However, this is a brand new sink with no nasty stuff in it, so you won't have to look at that in this video. The first step to remove the ball rod, right, which is the next step here, is to detach the lever, the pull lever. And this one, if you can see it, let me just take you around back so that you can see it, snaps in to the ball rod extension. Now the metal ones are a little bit different. They have a little clip that you squeeze. This one snaps in, which is kind of nice, but you definitely have to remove this before you can take out the ball rod because it's not going to twist. So let me show you that. All right, so this is the ball rod, the other end, and this thing snaps in. So I'm just going to pull this out. Of this hole here. If I can do it without breaking this plastic, let me see. Just push it through the other end here. There we go. Finally got that out. Harder than I thought it would be for this little plastic piece. This is kind of nice because it just goes in. You don't have to worry about losing that metal piece, but you do have to take it off in order to twist this off. But we're going to twist this off from the other side so that you can see how that's done. We don't want to do it from this side because you're not going to have access to the back of your sink. And so you will have to reach through. I just wanted you to be able to see that when I detached it. All right, so now we're back in the front of the sink, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach behind here, and I'm going to grab, there's like this little canister. Usually it's just a little screw-on cap that keeps that ball rod in. This one has like a little canister, and I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise, but counterclockwise from the back. So for me, reaching in, it's actually a clockwise direction. Right? If you were behind here, it would be counterclockwise. That's the way you unscrew most things. But since we're going at it from the front here, it's the reverse. It's going to be a clockwise direction that I'm rotating it. And then I can pull this out. And you can see this is the thing that lifts and lowers the drain. All right, so I've removed that. Now we're going to remove the P-trap, and there's a specific order I like to do this. I like to start with the top end first. The reason for this is the sewer line. This goes to the sewer. This is where all the sewer smells and gases come out of. If I open this one first, a bunch of water is going to fall out first of all, before I'm done unscrewing this side. And I'm going to start to get some of those smells faster. I want to unscrew this side first, and then as soon as I unscrew this side, I'm going to put that cover on. All right. And if you have any bathroom fans, you might want to turn those on just in case you get a little smell anyway. All right, so I'm going to open that up. Remember, we did pour some water in here. Once that's fully opened up, I can open this one, and then, doing this one-handed, once I've got that off, you can see I can empty the water into my bowl, set that aside. Now I'm going to grab this cover. I'm going to take one of the tabs here, and I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to put this tab on the back end and kind of pinch it against the back of this little ledge here, and then I'm going to take the front and pull it up and around. And you can see that's covered now. So you won't get any of the sewer smells while that's covered. Now we have this bottom part too. That's for if you want to cover up the bottom of these 1 1/4 inch. This is a 1 1/2 inch pipe. This is a 1 1/4. Sometimes you have a 1 1/4 here. Because it has this ledge here, this will probably still stretch around and be a tight fit. But if it's not tight enough, you can go to this next level here. But you can also use it to cover this up. Covering this up allows you to pour some water down the drain after you've cleaned it with the drain detailer, which allows you to flush out any extra stuff. And you can even put, like I put sometimes a baking soda and water and vinegar solution down there. It just kind of helps get any remaining debris or even like oils and stuff out of the pipe that maybe even prevents the buildup a little bit longer. Okay, so now we're ready to clean the pipe. Because this pipe has no dirty stuff in it, and even if you do have dirty stuff in there, I do recommend using a little bit of dish soap for the cleaning attachment. And so here I have a bowl and some dish soap. I'm just going to pour this into the bowl just a little bit. And then I can take the cleaning attachment and roll that in the dish soap. And this is just gonna make it a little bit easier to slide down that drain. You would definitely need the dish soap if you have a cleaner drain, but also if you leave that ball rod in there, which you can't do for this one because this plastic is, I don't think this plastic would hold up. Plus the fact that this end is a little bit bigger might make it harder for the cleaning attachment to get past it. All right, let's go back up to the sink. I'm going to take my cleaning attachment and as straight as possible, I'm going to go down into the sink. Now it's going to be easy at first because for most drains, not all of them, it's a little bit wider at the top. And then it gets a little bit narrower. And so I'm going to have to push down, carefully but forcefully on this to get it through the pipe. And then if I go down here, you'll see that it exits the pipe. My dish soap wore off a little bit, so I'm gonna have to push a little harder down here at the bottom, and it comes out. And usually what comes out before it is a whole bunch of buildup and hair and gunk that is clogging your drain. And the reason the drain detailer is so good is it gets that into this bowl and doesn't push it further down your pipes like some of the other snakes. Now, there are the ones with the barbs and things that will pull it up, right? So there are the other options, but those tend to not get all the buildup. They just maybe get a little bit of the hair, and usually not all of the hair, just enough to make it work for a few months, and then you gotta clean it again. All right, now that this is through, I'm going to remove the cleaning attachment here. And that's usually pretty straightforward, but it looks like this one, I screwed it on a little tight. So I'm gonna grab some pliers. And I'm just gonna grab that metal piece there. It could be also because I have dish soap on my hands and the brush head here. And these gloves make it a little slicker too. All right. So now I've removed that. Usually this is going to be a little bit dirty with some stuff in these things, but it is silicone. It washes really easy. You can kind of wash it in this water if it's not too dirty, or you can wash it in another sink, or wash it later. All right, and then you just pull this back up through the top of the sink. Now the other option, and what you might choose to do instead, is I can also unscrew the handle, which you won't see. I'm going to need these pliers again. You don't always need these, but I must have screwed this in pretty tight. All right. So I can remove the handle at the top, and so you wouldn't even have to remove the brush head at this point. The reason that I do the brush head or the cleaning attachment is because it's usually pretty dirty and gross, and so I just like to set it down there in the bowl until I have time to clean it. But what I could do is remove that, and since this is bendable fiberglass covered in plastic, I can just pull this down through the other way and out this way. So I can go up or I can go down to get that out. Now, in order to finish this project off, we need to get everything reinstalled. Otherwise, we're gonna have some leaks, we're gonna have sewer smells or whatever. We're not gonna be able to use this sink. And so, take this, we're gonna remove the cap and put this on in the reverse order. So let me remove the cap. We'll put on the short side first, or the smaller side, the lower side. And once that's tight, then we can lock down the high side. on there? Yep. All right, that's on there tight. That gives us more stability so that we can reattach the ball rod. And so I'm just going to look at this right here. You have this ledge, so that's going to go in, and we're going to rotate it counterclockwise, right? Really clockwise from the back, but counterclockwise from the front. So I'm going to feel around for that opening there. I'm going to get this in there. Let me straighten this out here. Make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, there it is. All right, now that I found it, I've got that in there, and now I'm just going to snap back in the lever here, and you already saw what that looked like from behind. I'm just going to find one of those holes and snap in the plastic attachment piece. All right, much easier going on than taking it off. And now the last step, which you might do before you reattach that, if you weren't able to get it off naturally, and you can do that since you took it off, you might as well put this in first and then put that ball rod in. But I'm just going to pop that in there, and you can see now it goes up and down. The last step, don't forget, we need to fill this with water, and that's going to prevent the sewer smells by filling up the P-trap. Do not forget this last step of filling that P-trap. I put a little bit of too much water, so it's falling out the back there, but that's okay, right? That would just be going down into your sewer. And that is how you use the drain detailer, drain cleaning tool for sinks with a pop-up drain.